Bruno Giacosa was a legendary winemaker whose career began way back in 1961 and continued until his unfortunate passing in 2018. Since that time, his daughter Bruna has run the operations at Bruno Giacosa's winery. Bruno Giacosa is located in Nieve in the Barbaresco region, but it's equally famous for the production of high-quality Barolo. Bruno Giacosa started out operating mostly a negociant business. He didn't have his own vineyards, but he was extremely knowledgeable about all the high-quality vineyards in Barolo and Barbaresco and sourced some top fruit from throughout those appellations. He was particularly well known for the production of a single vineyard wine called Santo Stefano de Nieve, which he produced for several decades until around 2011 or so. In addition to that special wine, Giacosa also produced a number of other high-quality single vineyard Barbarescos with fruit that he sourced from the 1960s into the 1990s. But once the single vineyard movement caught on in Barbaresco, it became increasingly more difficult for Giacosa to be able to source fruit from other growers. So at that time, he decided to purchase his own vineyard sources in Barbaresco, and he got two of the best sources in both Isili and Rabaya. Giacosa produces both white label and red label versions of its Barbarescos. The red labels are reserved for the Reservas. These are extremely special wines that are highly age-worthy and some of the best wines produced in the entire world. Giacosa does not produce the red label Reserva Barbarescos very frequently, however. This is so because very few wines are determined to be worthy of being red label Reservas. As such, they typically only make the Reservas a few times a decade. For that reason, the Reservas are definitely much more expensive and much more rare than the white label bottlings. Bruno Giacosa is definitely considered to be a traditional producer of Barbaresco. Among other things, that means that they typically ferment the wines for 2 to 3 weeks in stainless steel at moderate temperatures, and they also mature the wines in oak casks for 3 to 4 years before they're released. I was able to visit Giacosa last November and learned quite a bit during my visit. I was able to taste both the Isili and the Rabaya, and I learned that I tend to prefer the Isili. That wine is incredibly elegant and has some floral notes that I really appreciate. Rabaya was an incredible wine too, and that one tends to be a little bit more powerful. Unfortunately, Giacosa never set aside any of its wines along the way as they were being produced, and so they don't really have much of a library program at all. So if you'd like to get back vintages of Giacosa wines, you're going to have to do it in the secondary market. It is possible to find some of these wines on store shelves in the United States, particularly the white label offerings. I've seen some 2019 Isili, for example, on sale in stores in Texas for a little less than $200 per bottle. The red label Reservas will cost probably double that if you're able to locate them. They're extremely allocated and not easy to obtain, but they are absolutely incredible wines that will be highlights of your wine collection for decades to come should you add them to your cellar. On this channel, I'm always a big fan of buying wines from the best vintages for a particular region. And when you're talking about Barbaresco, some of the very best vintages for the past 50 or 60 years include 1964, 1970 and 1971, 1978, 1982, 1989, 1996, 1999, 2001, 2004, 2006, 2010, 2013, 2015 and 16, and 2019. If you'd like to learn more about Italian wines, I've published numerous videos on various Italian wine subjects, including Super Tuscan wines, Barolo, Brunello, Chianti Classico, and many more. So if you'd like to check those out, be sure to check out the playlist that's linked above.